Hey pre-algebra kids, Mrs. Gann again. So I love when I teach you something and then the next lesson is exactly what I just taught you. So this is going to be a quick one. Lesson 19, we're going to learn a new property of equality. Because we're working with equations now that have equal signs, we are basically building properties or rules that are going to go with equations, which I already kind of told you one yesterday, so this should be quick and easy. Just to kind of break it down though for you, let's first talk about some of these things here that we can find. Is 8 equal to 8? Yes. What happens though if you add 2 to one side? If I added 2 to 8 here, I would get 10. Does 10 equal 8? No. So therefore, it doesn't work. But what if I added 2 to both sides? If I add 2 here and add 2 here, I get 10 equals 10. Hey, that works. Okay, but maybe it's just because it's adding. What if we subtracted or added a negative number? If we're subtracting 5 or adding negative 5, which is the same thing, do we get the same thing? Well, 8 minus 5 is 3. Is 8 plus a negative 5 also 3? Yes. So both of these work. Why? I'll tell you. It's because they're on both sides. You're doing the same thing to both sides. Like I told you in the previous lesson. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. Well, let's take this to some equation examples. And this addition property, I'm going to show you how it works. So, first of all, I told you, we see negative 12. We're going to do the opposite here. We're going to add 12. So if I add 12 to both sides, this should work. Add 12, we get x equals 22. Now, let's check and see if this works. So I'm going to put 22 in for x. 22 minus 12. Does that equal 10? Yes. 10 equals 10. Check, it works. Let's do another one. So if I'm adding 10 to both sides, want to get rid of that 10, right? So let's do it to both sides. Again, we're adding to both sides, just like we added 2 on both sides. This becomes x because those cancel. This becomes 35. No, don't just take my word for it. Check it. Plug it back in. 35 minus 10 is equal to 25. Does 25 equal 25? Check, it does. See how this works, folks? This is just explaining what we've already been doing. It's making it correct, even though we already knew that. One more. Oh, this time we are adding. So in this case, the book has you add a negative. I'm going to just say subtract. Adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting. So if I subtract 12 from both sides, I get x alone, and I get 3. Don't take my word for it. Make sure that it is true. Is 3 plus 12 15? Oh yeah, 15 equals 15. Look how simple and easy that is. I hope I didn't go too fast there. I hope you understand this. I'm going to keep doing some more examples for you. All right, so first though, we need to write this down. This is a property. This is something you're going to need to know, something you're going to need to remember and memorize. The addition property of equality. If A is equal to B, then A plus C and B plus C should equal each other. A plus C equals B plus C. So if I was told, and this is the first example in your book, I'm going to flip to it just so I can kind of follow along with you. So flip there. Example 1 in your book, you'll also find this property at the top of page 75 in your book. So it's example 1. Basically, they're saying solve this equation right here. So I rewrote it so I can solve for it. And they are going to subtract 15 from both sides. Oh, I wrote 15. It's supposed to be 5. My bad. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides using that additive property of equality. Remember, adding a negative number is just like subtracting a positive. So subtracting 5, I get x alone because those cancel. And 14 minus 5 is 9. Don't just take my word for it. Plug it back in. See if it works. Is 9 plus 5 equal to 14? Yes, 14 equals 14. Your homework is going to be all doing this. You're going to be finding an equation that you have to solve for, solving for it using the additive property of equality, and then checking your answer. Any questions? Find me on Zoom.